Hello and welcome to the channel, Kelly Legends Media. Okay, I want to thank all the subscribers as usual for getting busy on the comment section, hitting those like buttons. Really appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe down below. Set that notification bell on all so you'll be notified whenever we drop a video. And sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay, so today's video is about a man that I knew very, very well who spent 15 years in Folsom prison. Now, this was before Folsom, new Folsom was built. I'm talking about old Folsom. And that was my Tio Pete. Called him Pistol Pete from 38th Street, okay? And this man did 15 years only to come out 3 years after being incarcerated and dying of a heart attack in his bed. But it didn't happen that fast or in a timely manner. This was over time. He used to stack the weights over in the weight pile in Folsom back in the days. I'm talking about back in the 70s, late 70s. So a lot of the people that were in Folsom at that time knows the way it was back then. It was a different kind of environment. And anyways, they used to call him Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete from 38th Street, okay? So he did the 15 years. I remember going up there and visiting him and spending time with him and my mom, my tia, my grandmother, and my Tio Pete, right? Go and visit every now and then. And I remember hearing him mention that his job was to stack the weights, you know. Well, he stacked the weights on the Raza side, but where the big homies worked out. Which comes, a little bit extra responsibility, you know. I'm not gonna say why, but anybody who's been there or been in prison would know what he was most likely doing that was important on the weight pile. Anyways, so he did his 15 years, you know. I remember he'd write me a letter now and then and describe the way the cells were. He said there was, I forgot the number of holes, the size of a quarter on his door. He'd be so bored he would count them. Being in the hole, he'd count all the little holes in there. But he said pretty much it was like an old dungeon, you know. And I remember when I went to go see him, and it was it looked like a castle. It had a big old fence in the front, like a drawbridge. Gate would open up, the bus would drive in, the visitors would get out. Anyways, so my Tio did his 15 years. Actually, this uncle is the uncle that I mentioned that was set up like Mundo to get a lobotomy. Okay, you have nothing to say about it. You're pretty much property of the state. The state decides that you need a lobotomy because you're too violent. They would take you and put you in this program to get a lobotomy. And like Mundo escaped and didn't get the lobotomy done for whatever legal reasons. The same thing happened with my uncle. My uncle never had it done. But we were very afraid that they might do that to him. So he escaped that. He escaped with his life. He did his time. He did his time good. And I remember when he was coming down, he had to go to some hearing or something. He was in the county jail, and then they were taking him back up to the state. Well, me and my little brother were in the county at that time, and they had him in a holding tank next to where it was in East Max, in a holding tank ready for the bus to come for them, next to where our dorm was. And being that we were tier tenders, we were able to go out there. And I remember he gave us his tennies, and we talked for a while. We embraced through the bars, and he gave a little clecha before he took off. And and he was gone. A few years later, he came home. Okay, and while at home, well, when he got here, when he got out here, he got a job with Orowheat. Okay, he was working for Orowheat, which is a very good company to work for. Has very good life insurance too, thank God. And he got himself a really nice apartment. He had it all hooked up, big ass aquarium with exotic fish, and my tío had a style to him, right? So, anyways, I'm saying this to bring this out. Okay, one day he has my cousins over, and they're out there partying, doing their thing, and they have a little bit of cosa on them and paraphernalia. So his probation officer happened to do a probation raid at that time and found all this paraphernalia and controlled substances. So they arrested my uncle for it. Okay, they put everything on him. It was in his house. He was on lifetime parole. He was a lifer. So he was taken back in. Well, all of us got on my primo and we were telling him, hey, fool, that was all your stuff. He told you to be responsible for it and keep it wherever you're at. And you didn't do it, and he got arrested for it. So that being the case, being that they came and took my uncle because of him, we told him it was his responsibility to go and to clean this mess up so that he could come home, right? My cousin obliged. He went in, he claimed everything, said how it went down. My uncle was released. 3 days later, he died in his bed, asleep. He had a cute little girlfriend, a stripper that he had met and was caring about. And she said he just went asleep, made a grunting noise, and he was gone. By the time my mom got there, they were trying to resuscitate him, took him to the hospital, but he passed away that day. And so I'm telling this story to bring this out, okay? Now, even though you get released from prison, you're not guaranteed a good time, a free time, and a long life. Some people get out with very little bit time left in their lives to live. And my uncle had no idea his was so short, but that's the way it goes. And that being said, people, stay free, stay out of the jails and the prisons, out of the courts. Once you're in the courts and the DA's got a hold of something on you, they twist it all kinds of ways to have their way with you and get you put in one of these places for a lot of years where you don't come out the same. Or you come out and you don't have as much time as you think. My uncle was on his way to having a good job, a good career, and he ended up passing. Luckily, the job, Orowheat paid for all of his services and everything, and we laid him to rest. When his parole officer called and said they needed to see him right away, we gave him the address. We didn't tell her. We just gave him the address to the cemetery and send her on her way, But anyways, just a little warning, a little heads up. Be careful, people, because we're never promised the next day, And you youngsters, you might think, I'll go in, I'm going to get out in 10, 20, 25 years. I'll still be this old. You never know, man. So, some people don't even make it out of there. Anyways, with this said, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless your families. And stay free, people. Hope I see you in the next video.